Hi, I'm Tim Scales, the Director of the Center for Entrepreneurship and the Center for Economic Education here at Indiana University East. Today it's my pleasure to introduce to you our 5th season of In Your Business. We talk to local entrepreneurs, we learn about their business, we learn about why they started their business, how they started their business, some of the opportunities their businesses has provided them and their community, as well as some of the hurdles they've gone through, some of the challenges. Welcome to another episode of In Your Business. Today joining me in the studio is John Veach from Veach's Toy Store. Here in Richmond, Indiana, many of us recognize that name of Veach's Toy Store. We grew up with it, we grew up around it. And it's an exciting business. It's a business that I want to learn a lot more about today as we interview with John Veach. So thank you for joining us, and let's get to know John and get to know Veach's. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we're going to learn about Veach's Toy Store today, but before we do, let's learn about you, John. We're going to talk about, your career, talk about your past, talk about your education, how you've kind of prepared for the position you're in today. Today, you're running the toy store. You grew up with the toy store, and I know that because I grew up with the toy store. So let's talk about, how you've been prepared for that. So let's talk first about you growing up, Richmond, Indiana, where you're at.
Well, I grew up in the store. I probably started working at the store when I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
I can remember coming in after school in first and second grade and just doing everything from putting prices on merchandise to cleaning, sweeping floors, washing windows, bagging, and I started off at the bottom and kind of worked my way up. I've been working at the store all my life, all through school. I graduated from Richmond High in 1987. And I worked all through high school, we used to have a bicycle shop, put bikes together, gym sets together, kind of a jack of all trades.
Okay.
And that's how I learned the business from the ground up.
Okay. You said something about putting prices on. Do you still put prices on?
Still do today. Oh, yes. We a little different now, but we mark the prices. Dad always said put it in the upper left-hand corner. And we still do that today, and I did that when I was 8 years old, so still working on that.
Well, good for you. After high school, you graduated from Richmond High School, then what?
I graduated from 2-year school, Holy Cross Junior College in South Bend, Indiana, got an associate's degree in liberal arts, and then I transferred to Xavier University, and I graduated from there with a degree in management and a minor in economics.
Okay.
After that, that was 20 years ago, and after that I moved back to Richmond to help my family with the family business, and I've been there ever since.
Okay. So is that the only job you've had, is the toy store?
Correct. I've only collected a W-4 form or W-2 form from Richmond, or from Veach's,
Okay.
just like my father. We've never worked for anyone else.
Okay.
It's always worked for my dad.
Okay, so that's very unusual, because that's truly a family business. When did that store open?
My grandfather started the store in 1938, 74 years ago.
Okay.
And he used to work for a company called Kresge's, which has since become Kmart, is what most people are familiar with now. And he would travel around to different stores and that were flooded out, usually, and he would clean them up. He would go there, he might spend 8 to 9 months, maybe 10 months, cleaning the store up, getting it back up on its feet, and then the Kresge company would then move him to another store. And my father has told me how, as a little kid, they would move from city to city quite often. They're like nomads, moving from city to city, store to store. Finally, my grandfather just was tired of that, and he wanted to have his own business. And he no longer wanted to worry about flooding, so he looked for a downtown location, because he wanted to be in a downtown, because back in the 1930s, that's where everything was at. We didn't have shopping malls.
Okay.
And he wanted a downtown that was high, away from a river. And of course, Richmond's downtown is up high with the Whitewater River, the gorge, being down low. And he thought there's no way, obviously, the store would ever get flooded out. So that's how he came to Richmond. and started his own store. Veach's is a 5 and dime variety store. Just an old-fashioned, it's kind of a smaller version of Walmart, but that's how he got started here in Richmond.
So in the 1930s, your grandfather started what we know as Veach's Toy Store. Of course, it was called Veach's because that was your grandfather's name.
Correct, yes.
Your grandfather started the store, he ran the store. Your father, when did he start?
My father was probably about 6 or 7 when they moved to Richmond, and my father did not graduate from Richmond. He went on, he was here for a few years and then went to Culver Military Academy for high school and then on to the University of Notre Dame for college. So he didn't work a whole lot in the store. He does tell me stories about how they would have big wooden trucks that they would push down to the railroad tracks, and he would help his dad get merchandise off the trains and then bring it back to downtown Richmond. So he helped out some when he could, but he wasn't around a whole lot when the store was getting started. But then he came into the store after he graduated from college because my grandfather had passed away. My grandfather passed away when my father had graduated from Notre Dame. Okay. So my father was 21, 22 years old when he came into the store and didn't have any guidance from his father. He had his mother, my grandmother, and then my aunt, Norma. The 3 of them ran the store after my grandfather passed away.
Okay. So truly a family business all the way through.
Correct.
And your father, he continues to work in the store today.
Yes. Yeah, he's still at the store every day. He comes in every day. He loves it. It's his life. Mm-hmm. He truly understands retail. He understands the climate of what we're doing, and we've had to change over the years. You know, we're no longer the 5 and dime department store that we used to be. Even back in the 1980s, we've changed and I say progressed along, and he's been kind of the driving force behind that. He's helped to do that, to change. You know, if you stay the same, you know, if you're not willing to embrace change, which he has done, that you kind of grow stagnant and you don't grow.
Sure. So the toy store has continued to grow, and I call it the toy store because yes. I guess I know it as a toy store. It's where I grew up getting toys, and it was a toy store, but it was a 5 and dime, so they had variety. It was more of a variety store. Would you say it's gone from a variety store now to a toy store?
Yeah, correct. When I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, we were, of course, a department store, but when people thought of Veach's, they thought of, the toys in the basement, the toy store in the basement. And that was our calling card. That's what we did the best. You know, that was, we tried, back then we did a lot of things, but we didn't do any one thing really well, except for toys. So with the advent of more competition coming to Richmond, we decided, you know, what is the one thing we do best, and let's focus on that. And we decided what we do best was toys. We sell toys, we know toys. It's what helps children grow. And so what we did was we decided to just become a giant toy store. We brought the toys out of the basement up onto our main floor, and we specialize in specialty toys. We don't have the toys that you would find at a Toys R Us or at the big chain stores. These are specialty toys that are educational, that are the child can interact with the toy, and they can learn from the toy, and it's fun. There's a lot of play value in it.
Okay. What about the birthday castle?
The birthday castles, my father started that 40 years ago. It's about 40 years ago. He got the idea from another toy store in Cincinnati, and he was good friends with the owner down there. And he said, you should do something special for kids on their birthday, and we do a birthday castle. And my dad said, you know, I like that idea. So he built a toy castle, birthday castle, in our basement. It's all concrete. It's not going anywhere. It's down in the basement. It's kind of hard to bring up to the main floor, but it's something that we've done for 40 years. We have parents that come in and say, I did this when I was my son or daughter's age, and they remember it. And we send out birthday cards on their birthday, and the kids look for it. They know it's coming, and they get that card, and parents say they're so excited, they got to come right now to the birthday castle. They want to visit, and the kids just love it. You know, we used to give out cookies, but because of ants getting into the cookies, we had to go away from that. But the kids love to come in. They get a present. If they have birthday money, we give them a special gift. You know, if they, you know, a discount on their purchase, or maybe mom and dad buy them a present, and we gift wrap for them, and the kids, they enjoy it, they remember it, and it's kind of sad when they get to be 10 years old, and that's the end of it for them, because after 10 it gets kind of cheesy for the kids. They don't want to do that anymore, but the young kids, they love it.
So you still have the birthday castle. It's still functional. Everybody still goes there until they're 10 years old.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you have a child that's less than the age of 10 and you've not experienced a birthday castle, they need to do so.
Need to come in, and you can get registered. There's no cost to get registered, and it's a great experience. The kids love it. Bring your camera, bring your video. A lot of video taking, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay, great. You've given us a great history. It feels like, you know, being a part of it because you've grown up with it, and it's so neat to have 3 generations involved, and I'm assuming they'll probably continue. I mean, you know, you want to keep this store for many, many years in your family.
Yes, we have a 4th generation. My son works at the store too, and he's learning the business. You know, I don't know if he's interested in doing that, you know, as he gets older, but it's a good work experience for him, and learning how to work with the public and work with merchandise, and it's a great experience for him.
And John, there's no reason to push him, because your father didn't know until he was 21. You probably didn't know until, you know, around that point. And give him time. Let's see what happens.
Right.
But it certainly is a great thing to have Veach's Toy Store in downtown Richmond. From the 1930s to now, there's been a ton of change, and you mentioned the change. There's been a change in the economy. There's been a change in the way people buy things. There's been a lot of e-commerce today. Do you have a website? We do have a website. A lot of people that have moved away from Richmond, I think, look at their website. They want to, you know, continue to shop or see what's going on at our store, and they come and visit our website. Quite often we do sell items on our website. Not our entire store, not our entire inventory is on the website, but some of the select products that we think are some of the best are on there that you can look at. Well, see, I learned a lot just from visiting with you, John, because I would never have realized your father used to help his father go to the train rail to pick up the inventory and bring it back. And it sounds like they pushed it. Correct. And from the location where you're at on Main Street to the rail, is that several blocks? Yeah. Oh, that's probably maybe 10 blocks. That's all the way to the depot district. From the depot to their store in downtown Richmond, because we're in the same location that my grandfather, the same building that my grandfather built. Wow. Because now, of course, everything comes in on a truck, UPS, right, FedEx, to the door, or a semi, comes right to our back door, and we unload it. I've unloaded many trucks. Yes, you have. Every day. You have. I've never unloaded a train car, but and pushing it then from the train track back to your store 10 blocks. Right. And I mean, in all kinds of weather. Right. Yeah, that's how they did it back in the 40s and 50s. John, I almost felt like I should come down and we should walk to the depot district to the tracks just to see what that's like. That's quite a walk, yes. Yeah. Yeah, they had it on wooden flatbed like trucks. They're about 6 foot long, 3 foot wide, and they would stack them as high as they could, and they would push them to the store, and
then they would go back to get more.
Okay.
So
I think I have a new respect for your father just knowing that he did that. So that's great.
yes,
Thanks for sharing that.
sure.
So let's talk about when you went to school. Did you know that you were going to come back and run the toy store?
Not necessarily. I've always enjoyed the store. There's 4 of us in my family, and I've always felt that the store was a kind of a 5th person in our family, a sibling. And I grew up with the store, and I loved the idea as a kid of making money and then turn around and being able to buy toys myself. A lot of people will say to me, well, when you were a kid, you must have had any toy you wanted. And that's definitely not the case, because my parents made me work for everything. If I wanted to buy that G.I. Joe, I had to work for it. Okay. And I'd come in on Saturday mornings and I would work. And I remember Dad would always say, okay, it's noon or 1 o'clock, your mom's here to pick you up, it's time for you to go. And I'd get mad, I'd cry, I'm like, no, I don't want to leave, I want to keep working. But they said, no, it's time for you to go out and play and be a kid too. You don't need to work all the time. But I enjoyed that, and I learned a respect for working hard. Sure. And working for what you get. And nothing's just given to you. You got to work for it.
Okay. So you went to college and you were thinking of the store as a sibling, and so you knew you would always be a part of it.
Yes.
As you studied, what were you studying in school? What were you trying to get your education for? What was your goals? What were you thinking you were going to be when you got out of school?
Well, I kind of wanted to be in the business world. Okay. That's for sure. I didn't know exactly what, but the store was always, back in my mind that, it was there. It was a great way to make a living and to nurture it. And I went to study management techniques, how to manage people. And I learned a lot in college. I've probably learned a lot more working with my father and working with the people that worked in the store about how the store operates. That's been a great experience for me. I've learned so much, from everything from accounting and bookkeeping to marketing, to just relationships with vendors, relationships with our customers, and relationships with our employees. And that's so important, to have all those relationships and to nurture them and just understand how it all works. And you have to have a real working knowledge of the whole store for it to be successful. It's a lot of people. Some people think that you just go in and you open up the doors, turn on the lights, and the money comes in. And it's not like that at all. You have to understand the product. You have to understand people, and we do a really good job. I think we do a really good job of understanding what our customers' wants and needs are for kids, and that's kind of how I got involved with it, through college and my work experience at the store.
Sure. Well, you and I have chatted a little off camera, and I know that I think you and I are very similar in the fact that we really appreciate the downtown Richmond.
Yes.
Okay? I know a lot of people call it uptown Richmond, but I still and probably will always call it downtown Richmond.
Myself also, yes.
And it's a special place, okay? Mm-hmm. When we think of the big box retailers, that's what they are. They are a specialty store of themselves, with themselves. When we think of the Depot District and we think of Main Street Richmond, which is downtown Richmond, it's like an extended family. Okay, but it's an extended business, if you will. You are with all of the other businesses along Main Street and even into the Depot District. You are all in it together. So those relationships that you mentioned earlier, whether it be the family relationships, whether it be your employee relationships, your vendor relationships, you also have a relationship with the other businesses. And I think that makes it special as well. So when something's happening to those businesses, it's happening to your business and vice versa.
Right. Yeah, we all feed off of each other in downtown Richmond. We have to work together. A lot of people will come in our store and they'll shop and they'll say, we're going to go to Joanne Bakery and we're going to get a cookie or a donut. Or we're going to go over to Secret Ingredient. Maybe mom has kids, they're going to get something, mom's going to buy herself a new outfit. And even next door to us, we have RT Hobbies. They carry a lot of the products that we don't carry. If someone's looking for, a gas-powered remote control car, we don't have that, but we have it. They have it next door. So, and I hope that their customers frequent our store also. I think they do, and it's a relationship you have to build with each other, and to be successful. You can't fight each other in downtown Richmond, or anywhere. You have to work together. You have to have some. They do that in the Depot District. I think they work together. Just because you have two restaurants maybe next door to each other doesn't mean they can't coexist together.
Sure.
You have to cooperate. You have to work together, and that's how you're successful.
Sure.
And I think we're trying to do that in downtown Richmond, and we hope that Veach is a big. We hope we're an anchor to downtown Richmond, and that other stores can feed off of us, and we can feed off of them also.
Yeah. Well, you're the anchor of the foundation. I'm not sure which at this point. So you feel like the foundation. You're kind of
Yes.
the building point of it, and I appreciate that very much. Today, as I get to know more about Veach's, the family and the history, your grandfather did a great job. He recognized a need, and that need was to find stabilization for your family. He did that.
Right.
He got you off the road and got you solid on Main Street. Your father obviously has gone through a lot of change. Everything
Yes.
from going to those train tracks to bring it back to having a truck pull up to the back door. Man, that must have been wonderful the first time that happened.
Yes.
And then, all the way to teaching you where to put that price tag. And so many retailers today, they don't have price tags. They're strictly Scantron, and that Scantron
Right.
is the only way you know what the price is. In your store, you can still see the prices, and
Yes.
that in itself is something that's really great. But each generation of your family has maintained the integrity of that business, and they've made those changes. You've
Yes.
gone from being a variety store of having everything to being a toy store specializing in educational toys. So I'm not going to come in there and find just any toy. I'm going to come in there and
Right.
find something that's going to have some educational benefit to that child, which is very important to the development of that child.
Yes.
So I think I applaud that change. But one that I also have watched from afar, and you don't know yet, is the fact that you have been creating changes as well. And those changes has been thinking outside of the store. You've been taking things to the park, you've been taking things to the Innovation Center. And
Right.
you've been getting the community involved in those special days and those special activities. I'd like you to speak to that.
We do number of activities inside and outside the store for kids to participate in. Earlier this year, we wanted to get people to come out and experience playing games with each other as a family. We don't sell the games that are on the video games. We try to sell games that all the family can interact with. And we had several game days where families could come down to the Innovation Center and they participated, and we taught them how to play new games, because these are games that they're not Monopoly, it's not Connect 4, it's not games that you grew up with or games that you see on TV. These are specialty games that that require a little bit more education. We have to educate the consumer, the family, and they had a lot of fun coming down to play and had a good time. We also do, in the summertime, we do what's called Create It, Make It, and Take It, which are activities for kids to come in and do craft items. We do it every Wednesday and Fridays during the summer, and they sign up and they're building anything from volcanoes to bracelets to stepping stones, and they come in and they build it and they get to take it home. It makes great gifts for, say, a Father's Day, or maybe mom's having a birthday later in the summer. They can make something for mom and she can have it. But they're using their hands and they're being creative. They're using their minds because they get to design it any way they want, and it's a great activity for the kids to come out and do. We're going to be planning some more game days. We're going to go out to the park and we're going to just get out and exercise. We've had block parties. Last year we had a block party where kids were just riding tricycles and riding different cars, and they were throwing footballs and frisbees, and just to get out and promote some exercise, being healthy, and that's what toys were, meant to be, is to interact and engage and to learn. And we try to do that by doing different activities throughout the year, and it's a lot of fun. And we want to branch out even more and do more. We like to do something every month. Right now, it's with a small staff. It's a little hard, but we're getting there. We're going to do more and more. Of course, at Christmas time, it's hard being so busy as we are, but that's a lot of fun. Seeing the kids learning something new by playing a game or coming in and doing one of our craft activities, seeing that smile on their face, it means a lot.
Sure.
Kids love it. So.
John, thanks for doing a great job. Thanks for coming on the show
Thank
today
you.
and sharing that with us.
Sure.
And the story that you share with us, those are priceless. So continue to
Sure.
share those, continue to develop, and continue to do a good job.
Thank you.
All right. This concludes another episode of In Your Business. Today we worked with John Veach. And John grew up in Veach's Toy Store in downtown Richmond. And just to spend this 30 minutes with John and to learn the story of Veach's is incredible. It gives you a new appreciation for what they're doing. And truly what they're doing is very progressive. It's not just a department of a retail store. It is a retail store. It's a retail toy store, but it's educational. I would encourage you, if you have a young person in your life, to take that young person, spend a few hours, and go down to Veach's, learn about the inventory, learn about what it is that you can interact with, and be a part of their business, be a part of the downtown business, be a part of the community, and just enjoy yourself. So again, that concludes another episode of In Your Business, and I think John Veach of Veach's Toy Store represents a great entrepreneur in our community, just as his father did, just as his grandfather did. His father still does. So thanks for watching.